So this is my review of Mythic Legion's newest Figura Obscura, Jacob Marley. And I'm pretty sure he's still fairly available, and there's going to be people trying to sell him for probably marked up prices, but from what I've seen with Edgar Allan Poe on Mask of the Red Death, I don't think prices are too crazy on him. And knowing Mythic Legion, I think they even just said outright they're going to probably release him again next holiday season. So you could still probably track one down if you wanted to. So anyway, he was about $60 on their website when I got him. And with taxes, all that stuff came out to around $75. So that's where I got him. And he's a Figura Obscura, so limited release and pretty good figure overall. But let's start the review anyway. And let's start with the aesthetics. And you can take a look right now. So he's got a real kind of spectral look to him. Lots of light blue paint. And Mythic Legion's always does very well with the high detail paint. So the coloration on the eyes, the shading all over his clothing looks very cool. So he's even got like the kind of see-through plastic on his boots. So it really gives him that kind of ghostly look. And no complaints here. So no real paint defects that I could notice. In my opinion, he looks great. And a very unique paint to it. So kind of like the translucent plastics they've been using throughout look really good on him. So definitely nailed it with the aesthetics. And in terms of height, he's just your standard Mythic Legion's figure. And I'm not too familiar with the like types of bodies they use on these because I don't own too many Mythic Legions. I think this is like an older body or something, like a 1.0. But he's basically 7 inches exact. So he's a 7-inch scaled figure. And in terms of weight, Mythic Legion's figures are always pretty beefy. But I'll just give you an exact number. Let's wait for this thing to 0. Five and a half ounces. So yeah, he's very heavy. Most figures are like around 3-ish ounces. So he's definitely heavy. And, you know, I like heavy figures. Some people don't care, but you have the info if you need it. So in terms of aesthetics, he gets an easy 5 out of 5. He looks great. No complaints here. Very creepy looking figure. So definitely fits the whole vibe of the Christmas Carol story he's from. And yeah, so let's just go straight into articulation. Not a whole lot to talk about. He's just like your standard Mythic Legion's figure. So head's on a double ball peg. It is a bit restricted just given the long hair and the sculpt, but very fluid and works great. And arms are on a standard ball swivel. I did oil mine, just so you know. And Mythic Legions tend to be kind of stiff out of the box. Not really an issue. Just heat them, oil them, standard stuff, and you'll be okay. So arms do go up about that high. You get a 90-degree bend with the elbow. Wrists are on your standard ball swivel. They work good. You can get the rotation out of them. That's fine. Torso's on a ball peg. Does move around a little looser than I would like, but nothing that's detrimental to the figure itself. And the coat's a soft plastic, so and it comes off very easily too. Legs. It is a bit restricted just again because of the coat. And they're on a kind of swiveling joint there. Nothing too interesting. And again, because of just like his actual outfit, it is restricted somewhat. You could get the legs up that high. You could probably go higher if you force it. I'm not going to, just because I don't want to mess up the figure, but it is restricted because of that kind of stiffer plastic there. There are cuts on the side. Again, be careful. Anytime you have a figure that's sculpted like this, be mindful because you could easily rip something. And there's a thigh swivel, knees. I did work my figure in, just be aware of that. Get 90 degrees out of the knees. So yeah, this is probably definitely the older body, like the 1.0. You do get a swivel on the calf itself, so that's useful. And ankles, you get a swivel. This is a little looser than I'd like. You see that? A little looser than I'd like. You do get a nice ankle rocker too. So in terms of articulation, and you know, Jacob Marley just like a character from literature, not really an action hero. So this is more like the type of figure you probably just leave with his arms out, like a zombie or a phantasm or whatever. So he does what he needs to. And since it is an older body and it is limited in what it could do, and what it could do is perfectly feasible, perfectly fine for what the character is, I'll give that a 4 out of 5. And he's a very solid figure too. So no real issues, no paint chipping when you move his joints around. He feels very well made, just like most Mythic Legions that I've owned. So 4 out of 5. And again, just took a point off because it is an older body. And yeah, it's limited in what it could do, but still good for what it is. And let's go straight to accessories. And just speaking of how much Mythic Legions gave with this figure, it's a lot. And much respect to them for that, just because this figure is only $60. And, I don't really count taxes and stuff like that because that's going to be different for different people. But for $60, you get a ton with this figure. So you get that background, first of all, which is just amazing. And, it just brings kind of like a new level of kind of dynamism to your figure, just because these backgrounds aren't really easy to come by. And the fact that they just they're in the habit of providing those for their limited figures, that's very, that's respectable, given that most companies don't give you any of that. So you get that. I'd count that as an accessory, kind of. Looks great, and good luck finding a background like that anywhere, because it fits the character perfectly. It looks great. And in terms of other accessories, just get right into it. He does come with this head on. That's actually the head he comes with. I just changed it because that other head looks so good. But you do get that kind of neutral expression. You do get a pair of alternate hands, just kind of like your generic ghost grabby hands. You get those. You do get these kind of more grippy hands. And I believe these are to hold maybe these kind of knockers or something. I'm not honestly sure what these are for. If anyone knows, just leave a comment. But they look great. Just not sure what they are. I think you're supposed to hold them or something. No clue. And you do get these kind of like accessory holding hands, just because Mythic Legions, and why not give Jacob Marley a gun or something? So you do get that option. And you get another one of these knocking ones with a neutral. This looks like a door knocker or something. And you do get one with the neutral expression too. So it looks great. And obviously the big accessory, let me just go grab it. Is actually this harness. And let's just move this out of the way. And yeah, just look at that. Those are real chains, by the way. Like, these are actually metal. They feel cold. And if you read the story, obviously, Marley's like an accountant or some kind of financial clerk. And he's been cursed to carry these chains in purgatory. And this accessory looks great. So this really nails the figure. It just nails down the character. And it really just kind of puts it all together. So this is 100% Jacob Marley. You know what you're looking at right when you see this kind of harness. And I'll actually just show you how to kind of put it on him. They did release a video where they mentioned this strap here might break. And they mentioned that you could just kind of glue it back. I didn't have an issue with mine, honestly, so that's good. And even if yours does break, again, it doesn't look like it's a huge issue. You could always just kind of super glue that back. Or you could just leave it disconnected. And actually, that'll actually make this part a little bit easier. But let me show you how to put the harness on, because it looks intimidating, but it's really not. Now, keep in mind, before you try this, run him under like medium hot water and loosen his joints up. And if that's enough, good. And I just went an extra step. I just added some sewing oil, and that made him really workable. So let me show you how to kind of get him apart. Just take his arms off first. And it has to be both arms. And this is so much easier after you heat the figure. And yeah, no issues there. And there you go. Now he's ready to put the harness on. So harness, very simple. Now, just be careful. This part gets a little finicky, and it's even harder doing it with the camera. but move all the chains out of the way as you're kind of inserting the figure itself. Okay. And I kind of just ram him in from the underside there. And just kind of, it's going to take a little bit of finagling, but it'll go on. And you see how I'm kind of just moving his jacket in the parts that are getting caught. It'll get on, but be gentle. Again, if that strap in the back does get undone, which I haven't had an issue with mine, don't stress it because it's not really breaking anything. And there you go. And just, kind of adjust gently and you should be good. So there you go. And just keep in mind the harness, the front should be that lock right there. And then you can just get his arms back on now. And again, just secure everything, tamp his jacket down, get everything squared away. And it's easier to just kind of adjust once his arms are back in. That's in all the way. Other arm. And this is why I like Mythic Legions. I've never had issues with the Mythic Legions. I don't own too many, but there's some companies that you feel like you're going to break something when you do this. And when you start fooling out the accessories, you feel like something's going to break. So, no issues at all. Looks amazing. And, just put him in a pose right now. Let's get him stepping forward. Get all his lock boxes away. Get him looking at Scrooge. And that looks sick. So that looks like something you'd see on like a Broadway commercial or something. And that looks amazing. And if you were wondering, yeah, there is something inside this box, this vault. And let me just show you what that is, because I was actually just kind of shocked that they even gave this. Look at that. I have no clue what that is. That's an alternate head. I don't think Marley wore something this messed up in the book. It just looks like some badass alternate head. And that looks insane. So you could really make like a really menacing costume with that. And that's what was in the vault. So that looks really nice. The painting on it, bronze, kind of like that iron look. That's just sick. And by the way, they do give you a bunch of these kind of like accessories, like these spare keys, just in case you lose these. They give a little baggie with all those in, just FYI. Anyway, so accessories I think is pretty obvious. Marley gets an easy 5 out of 5. And this kind of harness really finishes the figure off. Like, it just looks insane. And, take your time adjusting it because it's worth it. These people really, really did their kind of absolute best with this figure. And so unique, too, because you don't really get characters out of literature like this. So, good to have. Yeah, so accessories, 5 out of 5. Overall value, let's just speak about that for a second. 5 out of 5, very easily. And that brings his overall value to, let me just check my spreadsheet real quick, 4.6. So aesthetics, he got a 5 out of 5. Amazing looking figure. Articulation engineering, he gets a 4 out of 5 just because of the dated body. And articulation is limited, but no real issues. Very stable, very durable figure, 4 out of 5. And accessories gets an easy 5 out of 5. You get so much, and that nice little surprise in the vault. That was incredible. So 5 out of 5. These people really just kind of blow you away sometimes with their figure obscuras. They're all just unique. And value 5 out of 5. This is easily the best value figure I bought in 2023. And it's probably the most memorable. So easily 5 out of 5. That brings his overall rating to 4.6 out of 5. And if you could get one, go for it. You won't be disappointed. It's a great character, has great history to him. And that's pretty much it. So, and if you're just interested, just in terms of scaling, I already have a bunch of these guys up. So let's just look at some of them. So Boromir, another 7-inch figure. He's kind of hunched over, so yeah. 7-inch figure. And next to your more kind of import type figures, he obviously has some height on them. Again, Darth Vader standing upright. Like your typical 6-inch, sub 6-inch import figures, he obviously has some height on them. And other than that, yeah, not really much to talk about, but 4.6 out of 5 for Marley. If you have any questions, comments, yeah, feel free. And keep an eye out. So I have a bunch more figure reviews to kind of put out after the holidays, obviously. And just stay tuned for those. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.